So I'm going to do my best to talk about this. It's not a discovery yet because it's absolutely there's not
This
enough
is the
math.
entropy thing?
Exactly, there's not enough math to talk to give this more credibility, but it's fascinating. So there's always been a problem with gravity, right? We can't seem to get it to fit into the four fundamental forces. Back when the Big Bang happened, within like an insane fraction of a second of that happening, the four fundamental forces split. They used to all be unified. So you hear the term theory of everything. That's what like the goal of physicists and astronomers and everybody in that field want, is to unify everything about the universe into one theory.
The
or
big
one
laws
equation.
and the little laws
Yeah.
getting along.
Getting along.
Yeah.
So the four fundamental forces, the strong force, which is the strongest of all forces, hence why it's called strong. These names aren't tricky, y'all. I guarantee you'll understand
There's
it.
like a really good image I can put up too that
Yeah,
I've always liked with the little cartoon.
Yeah, exactly.
I always like that one, yeah.
The strong force binds the subatomic particles that make up protons and neutrons. And like imagine trying to split that shit apart. Like that's crazy. That's a crazy amount of energy you would need. The next step is weak nuclear force, which is responsible for like the energy fusion in the sun and particle decay. Electromagnetism is friction, electricity.
Yeah, that one's easy.
Magnetism, their force carrying particle is the photon, particle of light. And then we have gravity. So you notice the first three work on the quantum subatomic scale. And over time, scientists were able to reunify them, which is really cool. So again, they split up billions of years ago, and scientists are able to reunify them.
I have a shirt with that equation on it that just says plus gravity.
Yeah, plus gravity. Yes,
like we don't. Yeah, I love that shirt.
But then gravity, see, is the problem. It works on the macro scales, like the solar system and galaxies. And scientists have yet to find its subatomic particle, the hypothetical graviton. If you were to ever find that, then you can unify it with all of the other forces. Therefore, we have a theory of everything. But that has not been able to that has not been able to occur yet. String theory people claim they have gotten the closest, but they needed like 11 or 12 dimensions for the math to work. And I think over time that's been falling apart too. So, cut to the point of what I'm trying to say. I don't even remember what it's called. It's quantum entropy. Quantum relative entropy is a new idea. I don't actually know how new. This might have been around for a while, but I'm just hearing about it now.
I am just hearing about it, so I have no idea.
It blows my mind, and I'm probably going to get this wrong because it's so... I mean, it's shit that is above anybody's head. At this point, like I said, not enough math to support it. So instead of seeing gravity as one of the four fundamental forces... why don't you see it instead as just a reaction of the universe? That does not make it a force. So the universe heads towards entropy, right? Disorder, chaos. And that includes matter. Galaxies, everything that exists is essentially chaos. So what if the quantum field's response to bringing back some of that chaos is just what we perceive as gravity? And that's essentially what this fucking theory is. And like, I have to really sit with this, and like I had to sit with this for a while to let it sink in, which is what I love about space though, and like theories is like some of it is just you literally need the time for shit to sink in.
To digest it.
So gravity is not fundamental, it's a response. I wrote some notes here just so I can be as articulate as possible. If you can look at quantum relative entropy measures how surprised space-time is by matter, and gravity may be space-time's way of reducing that surprise. So entropy, disordered, gravity, organized. Matter changes the information structure of space-time. That change increases quantum entropy. Space-time responds by adjusting its shape. The adjustment looks like gravity. And that would account for dark matter. It would take itself out of the four fundamental forces, and we'd have technically only three, and that would be fine. So, but again, it's just so like there's hardly any math
heavy.
to explain it, but fascinating, right? So,
I mean,
yeah.
Even I don't know if this is the right paper, but I was trying to find the original paper.
I know, I had a hard time finding it too,
I think this is it. I don't know, but I think the original, because the articles weren't referencing it. Usually you can click on like, they'll be like, and then this theory, and it's a link, and you can click and go to the original paper. They didn't do that, so that was annoying. But I think the title is The Thermodynamics of the Gravity from Entropy Theory, from the Hamiltonian to Applications in Cosmology. I think that's the original paper.
It sounds like it could be.
I generally, when it comes to a research paper, I'll always read the introduction. Yeah. Because those are usually like, just give me an idea of what I'm getting into here. And they summarize it usually pretty well.
Yeah, totally.
That paper was not written for the average person, I can tell you that. I was like, I don't even know if I want to go through this. And then I scrolled through just to like eyeball how much math was going to be in there. and it was like 14 pages. I was like,
holy shit, yeah.
Okay, no, I'm not doing this. When it's peer reviewed, and if other people are like, yeah, then I'll read it. But right now I'm like, I don't even think I want to dive in yet.
Because I think it's still so imaginative, and that's really the shit that I love.
Hey, it's fun.
So that's why I'm probably not doing it justice. This is the way I've understood it. And the articles that you find that are like, well, the articles that you find that are like more of like the sciencey magazines aren't going to do it justice either, because they don't know what the fuck to even say.
No, they'll actually, you know what I should do? Because I've got some really great advice from somebody I know who's a CEO of like a major lab in the country, and he was like, if you ever don't know, he's like, I promise you, if you reach out to the scientists working on it, they will 100% like get back to you.
Help you.
He's like, nobody loves to talk more than a physicist.
No, that's right.
So I was like, okay. Actually, I think I'll probably going to remind myself. I will remind myself as I watch and edit this to reach out to this person and see if they're willing to talk about it.
That would be awesome.
Well, if they are even capable of explaining it down to the, because I think a lot of people assume that mathematicians learn everybody's math, but we don't.
Yeah.
We just kind of learn like the fundamentals of logic.
Yeah. So
if I read his paper, like it will take me a long time to wrap my head around whatever that is, because I'm not a fucking astrophysicist.
I also don't know if it's a woman or a dude. Also, this isn't just one singular person's idea.
It never is.
Somebody who penned this paper.
I could at least ask them, and if it's not them, they'll point me in the right direction or whatever. But like I'm gonna do that, I think, because for sure, that resource was like, just reach out, trust me.
Yeah, 100%. And again, guys, fact check. Do your best in looking this shit up. This one is particularly hard to really find answers to, though. Again, because it's also
new
so
and like
novel. But I have a pretty decent understanding of the 4 fundamental forces. So when I read this, I was like, I hope I'm kind of understanding it well enough to explain it, but like it's just fascinating. Why has there been a problem with gravity? It's been the fucking problem with like unifying the shit. And with all the science and technology and the fact that they could unify the other 3, why has this always been such an issue? This could potentially just explain it and take it out of the equation. But yeah, if the universe leads towards entropy, could this be a response by the quantum fields to kind of, it's like a yin and yang to negate that a bit. But anyway, shameless plug, not really, not even shameless, fully proud. If you want to read more about the fundamental forces, my book explains it pretty well, I think. But yeah, that's stuff that's like, but I mean, you're going back in like Planck time, fractions of a second after the Big Bang, and they all just split off. That's so crazy to me. One after the other, and people mathematically know that which one went first, and that is so cool.
Yeah, again, that's another thing that as a mathematician, we don't do that.
Yeah.
That's more of like the world of physics. And what's so funny is physicists hate doing math. And then mathematicians hate doing that kind of physics. And we're like, we just need to all get along.
Yeah, that's right.
But
that's the thing.
Yeah, I will say that's not the kind of math that I like to do at all.
Sure.
I actually really hate, and it's funny too, because like I'll have people have me fact check it, and I'm like, this is above my pay grade.
Yeah.
Like not only is it not something we're actually taught, but I don't actually have an interest in this from a mathematical perspective. Like as just like a conversation, like wouldn't that be cool if it was like entropy was involved here? That I enjoy. But if you were like, I'm going to need you to comb through this paper and double check all this math. The only one that I actually enjoyed, which was kind of related to this, was the APL article about the math behind a warp drive, which is like the Star Trek way of travel.
You talking about that?
That is the only one where I actually went through and really combed. It took me days just to even like wrap my head around the beginning of it to be like, okay, what's going on here?
Yeah.
But I very rarely do it to that level.
Yeah.
Normally I just read it and I'm like, you tell me what this all means.
No, totally.
You know, and when I saw that and I realized what they did, which was kind of a plug and chug, and I thought that was funny. I would have never been able to figure that out unless I was like, wait, how did they get here?
Yeah.
And then I was like, you plugged and chugged.
Oh, yeah.
You
No,
plugged
totally.
and chugged a little. It's kind of got that vibe,
yeah.
you know? But yeah, otherwise, this paper, I will ask them, see what happens, and maybe I can get on this. But damn, that paper I looked at, I was like,
girl, that's the thing.
I'd rather just talk to them.
No, totally.
You know?
So I'm planting the seed of the story right now. That's all it is. Check it out. It's just fun speculation. I mean, you can kind of look at it like the way Einstein came up with his theories, which hold true. That's why it's a theory. And there's math to support it. Imagination. That's what it took.
Yeah.
He was like...
An apple falling from a tree.
Yeah, versus like Newton. Yeah, exactly. Same thing. He's like, I wonder why this fell or whatever. If it fell or not is not the point. Imagination started this process. So it could be the same thing for this hypothesis as well.
Wasn't Einstein's thing he was riding a bike and he was wondering about the light through the trees?
Yeah, I think so.
And that's like what started
and then
all
there
that.
You go. You get special relativity and all of that kind of stuff.
It's like, it is simple stuff like that. Like just having a very little question.
Yeah.
And then being like the one I had recently, which is so funny. I went to my parents and, you know, they got hurricanes in Florida and stuff. And we did some repairs on their fence. And the land in Florida is very like swampy and wet. And so if you want to have a fence, you got to like dig a hole and fill it with cement. And then, you know, you put the fence in that way. And so we were just repairing one section. So he's like, can you grab the bucket of, I don't know what the dry form of concrete is. But he's like, can you grab that? It's only like this big. I've never felt something so heavy in my life.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't lift this. Yeah. And it's only this big.
No, but it's concrete, girl.
I was like, something is wrong. Yeah. And so I had to get assistance for that one. You know, we're adding water and my job was to mix it with this little shit stick my dad gave me. And the bucket's this deep, which if you know anything about concrete, like getting a wooden stick that deep and then it's going to snap, whatever. Anyway, my dad wasn't paying attention. He was working on something else at this point. There's a picture of me just being miserable.
Butter churning
trying to
concrete.
do this thing. Yeah. And I was looking at it. I'm like, wait, why is it once this dries? Even if you add water, then it hardens and it stays.
What's with the molecules?
You know, and like I'm just like staring at it doing this, like what's happening at the molecular level? Like what is concrete even made of? And what's the difference with cement? And then you just sit there and it's the dumbest shit. I am stirring concrete.
No,
that's all I'm doing. And I'm just like, wait a minute, what happens when this gets wet later?
That's the thing.
Why isn't it?
It's the question of why.
Yeah.
And that's the fundamental part of science. And that's so awesome. And it's such like a good memory. But that's what, like, hopefully all humans have that experience and everything. Like, why does our natural world work the way they do?
Yeah.
I thought about that too, where it's like, you know, Newton's laws. I throw a ball in this direction, it'll go in that trajectory. Yeah. Imagine another universe where the laws are opposite. I throw it this way, but it goes that way.
T-symmetry universe.
Yeah, it could go.
That would be a T-symmetry universe.
Exactly.
It's gonna be backwards.
And like that's so counterintuitive because you're like, wait, but the force is that way. It just is like that in our universe. It doesn't have to be like that everywhere. Imagination. I don't know if you know this. Kalpana, my name, means imagination. So
Does it really?
Yeah.
That is sick.
You can even use it in a sentence in Hindi. But like,
that's so cool.
Yeah. So like, I think about this kind of stuff all the time. For me, a lot of times it's like time travel things, like, oh, I wonder what a person from 500 years ago would think about it being now, or go vice versa. What would we think about shit 500 years from now? Constantly just lost in thought about our natural world. Yeah. So see, there's still a difference between us and AI because it doesn't have imagination. Yeah.
As of right now, I know. Like that's one of the I've returned to long form videos, and one of the ones that I wanted to do was like talk about consciousness from a scientific level. I'm like, we're going to have to define it because otherwise how are we going to know if we've accomplished like a sentient robot? You know, we're not even going to, because how are we going to define that?
Yeah, exactly.
If we can't for ourselves and animals, by the way.
Yeah.
And a rock.
Yeah.
If we can't differentiate all of these things, then how do we classify
and
it
a rock,
for AI? Yeah, you're right, because that would have to be the negated one. So like we have to have ones that pass the test and ones that fail. And it's really scary, and it's kind of fascinating how much we don't know. And this is the thing that always, like, you try to not get demoralized having this job, I think. I'm thinking about this fucking cement, you know? And I'm like, why don't I know this? Like, why don't I have the answer to this? Like, immediately there's this expectation that I know everything all of the time. And you have to just kind of, like, let your curiosity just kind of take over. And just like, this has nothing to do with ego, just learn. And then as you learn about it, the molecular level, and then I'm like looking at the atom and I'm like, wait, but why is the atom doing this and not that? Like, why? And you go down this rabbit hole and you realize how much you don't know. And this happens to me every fucking day.
No,
where I'm like, cool, I don't. Like,
that's why ignorance is bliss.
You know, it is.
Because if you just don't care and you don't want to know, then you're happy.
Yeah.
You just live. You're like, I don't know. I don't care. I just live. I'm just existing in this universe.
I kind of get paralyzed sometimes by how much I don't know about stuff.
Yeah.
And like, to be fair, it's significantly more than most. Which, again,
that you do know.
That I do know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, because, like, I'm constantly reading the Audible book that I have when I'm in traffic, because it's LA and there's nothing to do for an hour.
No, same. I'm audibling all the way. Yeah.
I have to audible when I'm in traffic. Yeah. Like, the stuff that I read for fun, sometimes I take myself out of it, and I'm like, can you imagine if somebody just came into the car right now and was like, what the fuck are you listening to?
No, totally.
You know? And I'm just like,
almost done with Sapiens, girl. And so I know if someone were to come in the car, I mean, it's actually fascinating.
It is a really good one.
There's no, like, math or anything super deep. It's just, like, it probes into human existence, which is fascinating in its own way. So like maybe more people would find that interesting. But yeah,
that book's great.
Oh, it's so good. It's
so good.
But just like but no, I get that. Like in learning a lot about atoms and their molecular bonds these days too, and it's why is it the way it is? Just because our universe's laws are like that, or the simulator made it that way. But it's fun to think in another universe they could be very different.
The thing that I'm reading right now too is he was like an art person and then he was an engineer person or something like that. It was basically two separate worlds, and it's a very rare career where it's the design behind why things work the way they do as an interface. So like why this is shaped the way it is, why counterclockwise, clockwise, like why we've designed things like that. It's kind of like the story behind it. And there's this whole chapter on how the FAA and NASA establishes how to report errors. And it's a whole chapter on just that. It's the driest shit you'll ever listen to. But for some reason, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I didn't know NASA was involved with reporting pilots. That's crazy. I was like, what the fuck? I would have never known that.
Yeah.
And if you asked even like somebody who, I don't know, is an engineer who builds planes, I bet they wouldn't even know that was a thing, right? And it's like, there's always so much.
There's always
to know about everything.
Everything. Yeah. And it's our curiosity, man, that got us there. I find that fascinating too, like learning a lot about atoms, like I said, in OChem right now, OChem stuff.
Oh, you're taking organic chem?
No, I'm not. I'm taking bio. And for some reason, it's more OChem than it is fucking bio. I just wanted to learn about animals. All it's been is Excel, which I'm an expert in right now, by the way, and OChem. But as much as I like want to pull my hair out, the fact that humans know that at this like receptor or this part of the protein, the bonds are polar or non-polar, and we want to like find an amino acid that can attach to that.
Yeah,
that blows my mind. Good for humans. Good for humans. This is where I'm like, good for us, because somebody and people people over time got together, learned it. Technology got better. We learned even more. And again, where do I get my sources? NASA, ESA, other space agencies.
And even the stuff that they're doing themselves too, they're also getting their sources from other things.
Yeah.
You can only hyper specialize in one thing really at a time.
Totally.
So it's like, no, you do have to trust other people that this is correct. Like I will never forget the first time I ever did anything myself in a lab was carbon dating. It wasn't until that moment, I think I was like 20 years old, where I had actually physically myself confirmed this was real. Yeah. And we were given, I think we were given permission from, because this was outside of Boston, and Boston Museum of Science, I think, has access to some asteroid debris or something.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
This was 20 years ago. I don't know if this is still true, but it was the first time in my life I had like actually been the one to prove this was real, as opposed to just sitting in a classroom and trusting a teacher when they say like, this rock is X years old. You're like, okay. And you move on. And I'm like, I couldn't do this for every single thing in existence. At some point, you just have to trust experts.
You have to trust.
You do.
What a concept. It's not like they haven't gotten us to where we are in life today. So
experts have to trust other experts.
Yes.
God, the trees exploding thing. Okay, so I found the source. So originally, the whole thing started of do trees explode in the cold. Started because of a tweet, or I'm sorry, I have to say X. An X? What do they call that? I'm not on that app, so I don't know.
I've never been on it. I have no idea.
So a tweet. Tweet from, I don't want to like out him because I get what he was doing. He's young. He's a young guy. I don't think he's like fully learned to appreciate how what you say is interpreted by other people. So this is why I think this happened. The quote was, the tweet, exploding trees, all in caps by the way, are possible in the Midwest and Northern Plains on Friday and Saturday as temperatures are forecasted to fall 20 degrees below, all caps, 0. So all the caps and the exclamation points aren't helping his cause.
Yeah.
He hasn't learned that, like, maybe tone down the caps and the exclamation points. Just as like a kind of a general rule.
Do you think it was intentional because it's clickbaity?
Again, it is clickbaity. But
like, again, he did that for that reason?
He just became a meteorologist as of May of last year. So 6 months. And now he's in whatever professional job he's in. Okay. This is really his entry into SciComms. He has a shit ton of followers though, at least on X.
Okay.
I really genuinely, in my heart of hearts, believe this is a young person who just hasn't fully grasped how people translate exploding trees are possible in the Midwest.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? He's making it sound like, watch out, trees exploding.
Yeah.
What actually happens is they don't like explode like shrapnel in the blast zone. The sap freezes, expands, and the trees crack. Where I come from a place where it was negative 20 degrees for like 6 months on end, you know, not 6 months, but 2 months on end for sure. You could have sub-zero temperatures, no problem. And the trees can be loud. That crack can be loud depending on the age of the tree, the type. Yeah. Maple, ash, willow, very common trees to have those cracks because they have a lot of sap, you know, maple trees, maple syrup. Like, you know what I mean? It can be really loud. A branch can fall off from something like that, you know, but like saying like, watch out, exploding trees. That's right. Like, dude, you have to understand how people are translating that. And I'm still learning my own language of how to communicate certain things. I would have enjoyed more if he added that intensity to pipes, because pipes can be like that. Yeah. Everything cracks in the winter. Everything freezes and expands in the winter, and pipes are one of them where like happened to me twice in one winter. Our pipes froze, they expand, they explode, and then you have ice and water everywhere in your house. Yeah. It's tons of damage. It's expensive. That I would have taken that as like, watch out, sub-zero temperatures, pipe can explode. Keep your house above 40 degrees, which actually somebody came after me. It was like, clearly you didn't live in a cold area because freezing point is 32 degrees. Okay. Listen, bitch. The inside of your house is 40 degrees plus. It will get colder as you move out, as in where the pipes are. Yeah, right. If you're not at least in the 40s, the edges of the house can be in the 30s, hence the freezing. Oh my God. Actually, it's higher than that because we used to keep, I'll never forget this because we were so broke, oil in New Hampshire for each month 20 years ago was about $400 to heat your house. It was $400 of oil. And because of Bush, they come and they just fill the tank up. So even if you're like, I don't want to pay for this, they do it anyway. Got it. They have to legally fill the tank up.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So you're forced to pay that $400 a month, but if you don't use it, the tank stays full. Yeah. Hence why we would keep it at 50 degrees. 50 degrees, the pipes froze and bursted. Yeah. So it's actually higher than you think. Yeah. Because if the house isn't well insulated, the walls can get to below 32
There's too many variables. So this person was just like, no, 32. That's all.
Yeah. They were like, clearly you didn't. And I'm like, meanwhile, showing pictures of me like in a blizzard. Yeah.
Like, you grew up there.
I grew up in like one of the worst environments in North America.
They have no shame whatsoever. It's interesting. I didn't look into the person because I was hearing about these exploding trees too. And
it was him. He started this.
But I also wonder because like I feel like you're giving him the benefit of the doubt. And I just wonder if this is how if this is how he's gotten so many followers, is by being a bit clickbaity. I can't imagine some people don't know what they're doing.
I thought you were going to say click bitch.
No,
you fucking click bitch.
Yeah, no, exactly. But no, like I think people know what they're doing. There's sometimes I've told that line of like, the hook might be a little sensational, and then
Well, you know why I think that? Because I looked at all of his stuff, and even the most mundane shit, he does that. It's the caps, and even if it's stuff like like a cold front in fucking Minnesota, he does the same. He's consistent. I'll give him that. Okay. So I'm like, oh, this is like the way he thinks this has to be communicated. Yes.
And it gets people's attention.
Yeah. So I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt in that regard because it is clearly a trend for him. And I don't think in his brain he's differentiating between like me telling you a cold front is coming and me saying like, oh, trees can explode. Yeah. But again, the word explode is extreme exaggeration. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what a good term for it would be. Being dramatic.
They kind of just crack hard down their trunk and everything. I mean, like you said, the water expanding.
I guess if you're standing really close, some bark might come flying from that.
You have to like just wait there for it. See, communication.
It's a learned skill. Yeah. Again, he just graduated or whatever, May 2025 or something. I'm like, all right. I made a lot of mistakes when I first started too. Genuine mistakes where I did not realize that like I needed to I couldn't just say it. I had to specify what term I'm talking about because the thing I was just talking about sounds like I'm talking about that, but I'm not. And then the whole thing got convoluted. And I was actually wrong from that context. And I'm like, oh my God.
Because it can be like copy and paste it into something else.
Yeah. Or I edited. Yeah. I took out a section that actually fundamentally changed what I was just saying. Sure. And I just removed it because I was like, I ran over. Because back in the day, TikTok was a 60-second max. Yeah. So I trimmed a lot of fat back then.
And it's tough. Like talking about complex shit to trim it down to as short as we've gotten it. Now it's like, okay, I'm getting the hang of it, but it's really fucking hard to do. And I hope, like a silver lining, it gets people interested to look up why, and then they get to learn a little bit about chemistry and all that kind of shit.
Maybe even some maple syrup. I know Canadians follow us.
Yeah, so maybe like, but I'm saying even him doing it, maybe I would hope that it would entice people to be like, is this happening? Let me find out why. Oh yeah, water freezes when it expands when it freezes, and they get a little bit of and they get a little bit of chemistry lesson. I hope it leads people that way versus just like blindly following. And
I mean, if you think about it, I think the way I went down this in the rabbit hole was I was thinking of frost heaves in a road. If you live in California, in Southern California, you've never seen a frost heave in your life. But in the north, they're super common, which is why roads have to get filled or repaved, you know? And it's like, oh my God, it's because the water gets into a little crack and it snaps the pavement apart. What chance do they have?
Anything that holds moisture that way, and that'll, and then when the temperatures drop drastically or it goes below freezing, it's just gonna,
yeah.
See, another fun, like, law of our universe is that the molecule of H2O combined all together, it expands when it freezes.
Do you have to take coding classes? You must. It's like such a thing now.
I don't remember. I don't know, like, the whole curriculum, how it'll go down the road.
I will say I hated going back to school. Like in grad school, when I was looking at in grad school, you don't really take too much coding, but in undergrad, when I went back to change my major to mathematics, and I was like, why am I learning coding? I don't give a shit.
Sure.
I fucking hate coding.
Sure.
And I had to learn so much of it.
Yeah.
I had to learn Python, C++. I had to learn, and some other one that was blue. I just remember it was blue and gray, and I hated that one. I had to learn that one too. You make one little mistake and it compounds.
Gotta go all the way back.
And then they're saying like AI is going to be able to fact check that on itself.
Oh my God.
It is the error.
Right.
How is it going to troubleshoot itself?
Oh my God. No shit. That's right. When you are the problem.
Yeah.
God, Jesus Christ. Coding. I know one girl, one human, and she's a girl who enjoys it. That's her job. So she works for a company and all she does is code all day. Fucking nerd. I forgot what specific engineering she did.
Like, obviously, I learned a lot about it. I think I took 3 semesters worth of coding classes.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah, because as a mathematician, that's kind of how they communicate it these days.
Oh, yeah.
When I first went to school and I took accounting and you had to take calc and stats and all that, like, it was all by hand because I'm from the Stone Age. But nowadays they're like, oh no, you're programming that.
Yeah.
And then a lot of jobs that you can get as a mathematician, maybe not so much anymore, but maybe like 5 or 6 years ago, you would be like a consultant for programmers to get the math right. So you have to learn how to code math, and it's actually that part I didn't mind too much. But yeah, it's the most obnoxious.
No,
I don't know how people do it.
Some people's brains are just weird and wired.
It got to the point where I'd look at a screen and I'm like, that's not real.
Yeah. You're like, y'all just making shit up.
That's
you're
not
just
real.
Sitting there like,
I don't even believe you. I know enough to know that I hate it.
Yeah. Well, that's all. Explore it all and see what you actually like, guys. You could be surprised. Also, just to let y'all know, for those who don't, because I've never said anything about it, I am going back to school. This is my first time in many years.
I think there's a clip of you just being like, I might do it.
Yeah, that must be. Yeah. So I am. And I've taken on too much I'm already burnt out and we're not even done.
Yeah, that's
today's
how it goes.
the last day of January.
That's how it goes.
Next term, I will only do 1 class. I'm doing 2, but it's accelerated. So it's kind of like being in school full time. And this bio class, which I chose because I thought it would be easy and fun, I'd learn about animals.
What's it called?
Has been a headache. It's just bio like 181.
Oh.
And maybe I should have read the syllabus, but it's been Excel, data, and OChem. And don't get me wrong. It's kind of interesting. I'm burnt out. The astronomy class is a breeze. But this one is kicking my ass. I mean, no, I have an A, but it's kicking my ass in terms of hours spent every week.
Yes.
And I'm a grown-ass adult. I have projects, other shit that I'm working on. And I'm just like, I'm burnt out already. So I've learned my lesson. Accelerated courses, just take one at a time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
it is easier.
Degree in astronomical and planetary sciences. That's kind of, I thought I would maybe want to get it done in a certain amount of time. But I'm like, you know what? It's putting my writing projects and my scripts on the back burner, and that's my priority. So
not anymore.
And so next term, when these 7.5 weeks are over, I'm just going to do 1 class. I'm taking, I think, a habitable worlds class. So far, astronomy has been pretty ezy, but we'll see with like the way later stages. And I have obviously a previous credit where a lot of the GEs are, previous degree.
Yeah.
So that transfers over. We're not chat brains, y'all. We're not AI brains. I know.
Oh my God. Speaking of, them running ads is the funniest fucking shit to me. Inevitable. I don't know why everybody's acting surprised, but the thing that I wanted to look up, because they were kind of ambiguous about it before, was I pay for the $20 one. Do you pay for it at all?
I don't tend to use it too often, to be honest.
I use it for fact checking, random ass questions. When I was writing my first book, to help me like grammar, syntax, things like that. You know what I mean? Just it's a great.
No, definitely for writing stuff. It helped me edit my pitch deck. That's like the most I've ever used it.
Yeah, it's really good at being like, okay, I have this much. Just help me make this better. It's great at that.
Yeah.
So I paid for the $20 and I was like, shit, am I gonna have ads? So I found out OpenAI announced on Friday, I think this was mid-January, so a couple weeks ago, that it will be testing ads in its free version for logged in adult US users. And there is one where you can pay for an $8 version that does include ads. The $20 and $200 version does not have ads.
Okay.
At least that was the plan. And, you know, the thing is they need money because they promised a $1.4 trillion. That amount of money is so insane to me that so my brain spaces out.
Yeah.
$1.4 trillion infrastructure over the course of 8 years. And I'm sure Sam Altman is sitting there going, where am I going to get that money?
Yeah.
So ads kind of make sense. I mean, when you think about it, if you go on Google and you're like, where should I eat tonight? Sponsored, ad driven.
Absolutely. That's how they did it.
They come up first. So like, AI is going to do that too.
Yeah.
Where you're going to ask it a question and be like, what is the meaning of this? And it'll be like, here's the sponsored answers. Yeah. Keep scrolling to get everything else. So
That's crazy.
I figured that was going to...
Is that how it's going to be designed? So it's not like websites where you just see ads on the side. It'll be like...
It's going to be embedded. It's going to be embedded into an answer. So last year...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Again with the last year, this is like a month ago, okay? 2025. The company launched a tool called Instant Checkout that lets users buy items from retailers such as Walmart and Etsy directly through Chat GPT. So that is going to fuel a lot of their sponsored ads and all that, because if you're like, hey, where is this? Where can I find this thing? And ChatGPT is like, you can find it here. Do you want to order it right now? And you can just say, yes.
Gotcha.
We're going to get so lazy about shopping because right now Amazon does that. But Amazon, I know that they designed that page very specifically over years of data that they got from users. And it is like the best layout that they can possibly have.
Yeah.
But it is kind of lame.
Still kind of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, like things that I'm like are so cheap and shitty show up as like beginning results.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if ChatGPT is going to be like a better version of that. Amazon and ChatGPT are going to have an agreement at some point.
Yeah.
You know, because I'm sure Amazon's going to want to get in on it.
Yeah,
to be like,
totally.
put our stuff first.
Yeah.
You know, and then order. So, like, maybe they won't be competition. Maybe they'll just, like, work together. And then we'll have, like, a real conglomerate.
Probably. They'll, they'll go to some billionaire's ranch in Wyoming and have a party and a dinner. And then they'll be like, all right, we'll work with you. We'll work together. We'll just keep continuing to monopolize.
What about your privacy?
That's been gone, girl.
I know. I think all of our entire generation has an issue with that. Where we're just like, whatever. And the younger generations too, like we've all just given up.
Yeah.
Like because I think we understand and appreciate how easy it is to find out. The jokes on TikTok where like your girlfriend comes on and goes like, okay, so I met this guy and you're like, tell me what color hair does he have? That's all I need.
Yeah.
And you can find
this
like,
person.
It's like, privacy is kind of a joke even amongst us. Like we know that you don't need much to like find somebody. So I think that's why we don't care. Have you ever looked yourself up?
I think... Yeah, definitely I have because of my IMDb and all that shit. So
well, what does AI say?
Oh, I've not done that, I guess, in a while.
You should do it. You should do it just to see what the automatic...
we don't know who this bitch is.
I had done, like, who is modern day Eratosthenes, and it had, like, a whole thing on me. I was like, ooh, and the picture it shows is the worst picture of me
you've told me this before.
And it's so funny to me, and I'm like, ugh.
I guess I can ask and see. It'll be like, we don't know who you're talking about. Or it'll come up with that astronaut who died, like I mentioned,
do your Instagram handle.
Yeah.
Because then it'll definitely pinpoint you.
And then it'll be like, let's summarize. Oh, she's a space nerd.
Yeah.
So,
and AI is going to be making movies soon too. So.
I hope nobody supports that. That's absolutely bullshit, though. You can't like replace actors who are already struggling. Obviously, I have a bias because I work in the industry. But,
oh God, they've all been struggling.
But like, so now you're gonna watch what soulless creatures tell you a story. I mean, fuck, go for it if you want. But a lot of the comments I see are hopeful in the sense they're like, no, we're not watching this. Fuck AI and all that.
Yeah, uncanny valley. It creeps people out when it looks kind of human but isn't human. Like,
and like, God, leave the arts alone. For God's sake, let the poor artists at least be poor and not homeless.
It's the first thing they came for was the arts.
But I mean, so far it's been a good backlash, so I'm at least happy about that
for now.
But if Hollywood fucks itself because they're fucking idiots and they do AI shit and it tanks their industry further, this will be people getting back to live theater and Broadway and shit like that, because you can't as of now replace that. So
chamber music's my absolute favorite. Nothing's better than chamber music live. But like as a former violinist, like of course I love chamber music because it's like you can really hear the violinist.
Yeah.
It's like instead of like a full orchestra where it all kind of blends together.
Oh, sure.
But for me, it's a fun experience because I know what everybody's doing. You know what I mean? Like I did it for 20 years, so I'm like I'm in it.
Yeah.
In a way that it helps to be able to see them as opposed to like just listening to it where you miss things. But if you can see it and you see somebody moving and you're like, wait, what sound are they making? I didn't even hear that. And then you have to like focused on it. You're like, there it is. You have to like comb through all the sound layers.
No, it's so fun.
And you're like, okay, got it.
Totally.
It's so engaging. It's so fun. If that returns and it becomes more popular, I'll be like, yes.
It might, dude. Honestly, live shows are just so great. My favorite annual event of the year is the John Williams concert at the Hollywood Bowl. And although the numbers have kind of tanked for that because he's no longer doing it. He's not even showing up to conduct Star Wars anymore. He's like 95, so it's fine. But it's magical. And every year it reminds me of why I got involved in this industry. It's shit like that. So like AI is not anytime soon at least going to replace it. So if it means digitally it's tanking our industries, fuck it. Let's go live. We'll go live shows and get our fulfillment that way.
Maybe it will help us appreciate that we actually do like the arts.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
A la carte.
Yeah, that's right. I know,
so
exactly.
You never know because
right.
I mean, when CDs and streaming and all that came out, you still had live concerts. People still go to them. So it's like, oh, people can balance the two. So it might be okay.
We need an escape. We need to feel. And that comes from human art.
Yeah.
Or animals.
Or animals.
They're art by themselves. Yeah. But so hopefully we can end on that positive note.
Yeah.